What is going wrong at Newcastle United Football Club? Where is the intent from the ownership to push forward with this plan, this big ambition, these grand schemes? Where is the direction from these directors to show the intent that they've promised to the fans, that they've laid out to the fans? We're going to go through all of it today. The misdirection, the miscommunication, the lack of intent as a football club to grow, and where this is going wrong. Are Newcastle playing safe in order to try and grow a project rather than being ambitious and getting deals done in the market? Let's get into it. So, where we're going to start off, where is the intent? Newcastle United have gone from a club full of ambition and momentum only 2 seasons ago to a club that feels absolutely stuck in the mud. The biggest issue right now isn't money, PSR or even transfers. The biggest issue is the lack of intent. Fans can accept failure. We can accept the struggle. We can accept that it takes time to build. But hesitation is the problem. The lack of intent of Newcastle in the transfer market with no killer instinct is actually what causes us all of these issues. This is what leaves us on the global stage or even down to the national stage of looking like a club that doesn't have its shit in order. And this players will look at this and it will stop them from thinking about coming to Newcastle as an option for their career. And then your bargain basement signings who should be looking at us as a viable prospect, as a stepping stone, are going to be looking at clubs like Brighton or like Bournemouth and saying there's a better proposition as a youth player to get game time, to get minutes, to develop and to move to bigger teams. It's an inherent problem at the moment. Newcastle identify a player, we make an offer, we wait, we lowball, another club arrives paying bigger wages, paying the asking price, and they get the deal done. And it feels like Newcastle are trying to constantly negotiate every last penny out of these deals and not showing any conviction to get things done. And as a result, targets drift to rival teams when we should be getting these deals over the line. And I have to say, this is the big topic for me, really. It's not the fact that Liverpool have come in. Liverpool are the bigger club. They can offer more wages. They are a better prospect to look at for a transfer to come in. But realistically, that's not the problem. The problem is Eddie Howe's pulling power. And it has to be in question. It's not a criticism of him as a coach. We've all had our criticisms of him as a coach over the past season. But it's the criticism of how this football club has been transformed but don't appear to have the pulling power to get transfers over the line. Elite players aren't choosing us as a destination, and that's not because of this narrative of no one wants to move to the northeast. We've done it in the past. We've pulled in your Sandro Tonali, we pulled in your Alex Isak, we pulled in your Bruno. This is purely a narrative of the optics of Eddie Howe. The optics of where we were 2 seasons, 3 seasons ago as a building project that looked like it had growth, to now where it looks like a project that's flopped and the success won't come back. And the fact that the ownership is sticking with this and trying to play through the hard times, how many clubs have you seen it happen to that it doesn't work? It doesn't work giving long-term to managers. Realistically, in the Premier League, it's taken Arteta 7 years. Can we wait 7 years for growth at Newcastle? I'm not sure we can. And the false promises is the problem. Fans have heard a lot of promises over the last few years. State-of-the-art training ground, major sponsorship growth, stadium decisions, squad improvements. Yet the whole of this, challenging by 2030, we keep hearing it. The progress feels painfully slow, and supporters are being asked to dip into their pockets and buy the shirts or the fan memberships or offering extra season tickets. You could be in this lottery for a season ticket. We're giving away 250 to the 50,000 people that entered this ballot. It's ridiculous. The direction of this football team needs to change. There needs to be decisive, visible next steps as to where this is going to go. And this lack of ability to offer direction is causing growing disharmony. There are increasing reports of frustration within the squad. Players such as Lewis Hall, Sandro Tonali, Tino Livramento, that they're all being linked away, and there's stirs of unhappiness in the camp. Whether the stories are true or not, the perception matters. The media narrative matters. It makes players look at the club as farcical. Newcastle need to lead from the top. This needs to go from top to bottom, and right now there seems to be too much noise around the club and not enough action. The mixed messages to the supporters is really frustrating. The lack of direction from the club is really frustrating. But the conclusion in all of this is Newcastle supporters aren't demanding the impossible. We're not demanding for a team that's going to go and challenge by 2030. We want a team that will compete week by week. And if we go out and we compete and we put in a good effort and we still come away with nothing, the fans don't mind. It's the fact that we don't compete on the pitch. We're not offering clarity as a football club as to where this club is going, the direction. And we are, as fans, we want clarity. We want ambition. We want action. And there's major concerns that we are losing on every front, not just football matches. We're losing on bringing in staff. We're losing on bringing in transfers. We're losing on bringing in state-of-the-art equipment in order to offer this club out as something different, as a project that's actually going to grow. And right now the club feels caught between what it wants to become and what we actually are. Realistically, where's the ambition? This club has to go out and show intent. And the optics at the moment with players like Lewis Hall being linked to Chelsea, Sandro Tonali being linked everywhere. If those players leave before we bring in some statement signings and show some intent to grow this club as a project, forget it. Forget next season. We will be dithering in the bottom half of the table. We will be not an attractive proposition to be able to turn it round in the way that it was when Newcastle were first taken over. And Eddie Howe will be out of a job. Realistically, whether the ownership likes it or not, the fans will turn. That is the nature of it. Realistically, Eddie's got to prove himself this season. And I think the time's come for Newcastle fans to stand up and be heard. This is a point of we've had enough. We've had enough of this 4.5 years. We've had some good times. We've had some bad times. It's been a roller coaster. And we're all on board for that. But change has to come now. And that has to come from the top. And that top is not Eddie Howe. That top is PIF and the directors. Whether that's David Hopkinson or Ross Wilson. Realistically, the optics don't look great for Ross Wilson. The first major deal he's trying to get over the line with Victor Munoz, and you've been beaten to the pip. And realistically, the news I'm hearing is that Newcastle had everything agreed. They're sat across the table from this guy. They've agreed with the club. Everything's concluded, apart from putting the wheels in motion to get that medical done and get that piece of paper signed. And you've dithered and dithered and dithered. And in the end, that has allowed, once again, one of the big fish to come in and take the bait. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. I'm going on holiday today, so I'll try and keep you posted with what's going on, hopefully from a sunnier climate. And I'll catch you in the next one.